Today, I'm going to tell you guys the story about how I finally ended up purchasing an HM Strat. What's up guys, Jake here, and today I'm going to give you guys the rundown on how I became the owner of this 1989 USA Ice Blue HM Strat. Real quick, if you haven't visited my channel before, thanks so much for stopping by, and do remember to hit that subscribe button for updates on future videos. So last night I was scrolling through my time hop, and turns out 1 year ago today, the day this video goes up, Friday, I purchased my HM Strat. Well, I got my HM Strat. So I thought it'd be cool to kind of tell you guys a story about how I became the owner of one of these guitars, because they're pretty rare. They're only made for about 3 years, and the original ones don't come up too often. But all of a sudden, in like the span of a few weeks, I had the opportunity to buy 6. I only bought 1. So I've wanted an HM Strat since pretty much the day I started playing guitar. I was a huge fan of JacobT.Tanis' channel. If you don't know his channel, go check it out. His channel got big from him playing Van Halen covers, and one of the guitars he used in his early videos was an HM Strat. And I thought it was like the coolest looking guitar ever. So I ended up Googling it and finding out they're actually pretty rare, and this is not a normal guitar for Fender, because you have to remember at the time I didn't really know guitar brands or anything. So I was always pretty obsessed with finding one, but it took me years. So let's rewind to, I want to say April of about 2018. So I work at a guitar shop and a guy brings a guitar in. Flips open the case. It's an HM Strat. It's white, it has a Duncan JB in the bridge, and I'm like drooling over. I'm like, dude, I've wanted one of these forever. How did you get one? And he like looked at me and went, I have 2. And I was super jealous, and I started joking with him. I was like, will you sell me one? And he's like, nope. But he was such a cool guy, and it's actually a pretty cool story. A couple weeks ago, we reconnected. I happened to run into him, and he mentioned something about HM Strats, and I was like, I have one. And he's like, wait a minute. And I was like, you're the guy. So we ended up talking and geeking out for a while, and that was super cool. But him letting me play that guitar really like gave me that bug. Like I was like, all right, enough drooling over pictures of these, I have to find one. So the next couple weeks I was surfing Reverb, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, all that, trying to find one. And finally a white one popped up. It was a 89 Japan-made one. Emailed the shop, I asked them if they were the original pickups. They were pretty snotty with me, told me if I really cared, they'd pull the pickups later that week, but there's no way they can tell because they're not marked. They can't tell. It's a DiMarzio in the bridge. So I waited, never heard back. The guitar sold. I let it go. I didn't want a white one. I wanted the ice blue. I wanted the ice blue so bad. If you've watched my other videos on this guitar, you know I really love the color because it changes in lighting conditions, and I wanted the blue one. So I wasn't too hurt. A year goes by. It was March of 2019. Pink one came up on GuitarCenter.com, but there was no pictures yet. So I looked at it. I almost just ordered it right there. I almost didn't care about condition because it was priced really fair. I decided to sleep on it, let him get the photos up. It sold. A little upset, but of course I wasn't too heartbroken because it wasn't the blue one. Here's where the story gets crazy. A week later, someone posts on Craigslist ice blue one with a maple board. I was freaking out. It was a really good price. It didn't have the case, but it was a good price because of the condition. The guy was about 10 hours away from me to get to by car. So I called him, we chatted for a while. I up and down was like, dude, I have my credit card number ready. Will you ship it to me? And he's like, well, I can't really find a box. And I was like, dude, I'll send you a box. I was being really obnoxious. I was like, dude, I've wanted one of these so long, please. And he was like, no, I don't ship guitars. So I was like, I'm driving 10 hours in my 2004 Grand Prix with 250,000 miles on it. I'm doing it. Well, he said, for sure. I mean, I'll hold it for you if you want to drive here. And I said, okay, Send me some in-depth pictures of the condition of the guitar. And he's like, all right, dude, everything's structurally sound, you know, nothing to worry about, but I'll shoot him over. He finally sends them. The neck pocket was so cracked and filled with nail polish. It's just like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. Like, stress cracks are normal here because if you're using the bar a ton, it's gonna happen. But it was like cracked through the wood, not just the finish. And I sent it to like 5 different trustworthy techs, and everyone was like, oh my God, stay away from that. I was pretty heartbroken because the maple board, I'll see if I can find some pictures, was really beat up. It looked super cool. It was so Van Halen to have the maple board completely stained. Now, the story gets even crazier. I'm sitting at home one night. I get a text message from a number I don't know. It's a picture of a black HM Strat. I was like, who is this? And it turns out to be one of my coworkers. He was out buying guitars for our store, and he bought an HM Strat. He knew I really wanted one, probably because I wouldn't shut up about him, and he came across one. And I was like, no way! So I started texting him, blah, 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 blah. He brings it to the store. I mean, I'm in love. This is like the first time I sat down with one. We had the situation with the guy about a year prior where he let me play his, but I only played it for maybe 30 seconds. This I actually sat down for, half an hour and played, and I fell in love with the 17-inch radius and the 25-inch scale length. It just was like, this is perfect. A couple of things I couldn't get over, though. It was pretty beat up. It didn't have the Marzio Super 3. It was a either a JV or an Invader. I'll find some pictures of that one, too, and throw them up on the screen. And it didn't have the hard shell case. It was just like a cheap gig bag. I was still pretty convinced I was going to buy it. As soon as it became available, I was pretty sure I was going to buy it. But I couldn't get over the fact it wasn't blue. I wanted that ice blue. So I decided to sit on it. I would come into work every day and stare at it on the wall. I'd pull it down. I was trying to convince myself to buy it. And one of my other coworkers was like, dude, just buy it. Forget about the color. And I was like, no, you don't understand how important the color is to me. Gets even crazier. Like a day after my coworker says that to me, up on Reverb pops a 89 single pickup black HM Strat with the stock pickup. And I was all geeked because it was really cheap and I knew it was going to go quick, but it was one of the single pickup ones and you can barely find those. So I messaged the store, asked them if they had the case. They said no, and it was a bummer, but the price was just there. I was so excited. I was like, I'm gonna buy this guitar. I showed it to the same coworker that told me I should just buy the black one in the store. I showed it to him. I'm like, this is so cool. They're so rare. This one only has one pickup. And he looks at it and goes, that's not the one you want. You wouldn't buy the one here because it was the wrong color. Well, that one's the same color. It just has less pickups. And I was like, yeah, but it's rarer. And he's like, but it's not the one you want. Devin, if you're watching, I owe you one. So this is, to me, the craziest part of the story. I go home, fairly convinced I'm going to buy this HM. I'm done messing around. This is like the 6th one in a few weeks. I'm like, this is the one I'm buying. So it turns out it's in Indiana. It's a 2-hour drive from me. It's like, I'll hop in my car and go check it out. So made a deal with myself. I was going to sleep on it, see how I felt in the morning. If it was still available, I was going to call and put a deposit down. I was going to drive down and check it out and pick it up. I go to sleep. I wake up. It's gone. I'm pissed. I am furious. I was like, I knew I should have just ordered it. That way it was mine. But here's why. Devin, I really owe you one because open up Facebook Marketplace. First thing in my feed, this guitar. 89 HM Strat, ice blue, brand new condition. I've put the scars into this thing, but when I pulled this out of the box, I couldn't find a single ding. The only ding I could find was up on the headstock. So I quick messaged this person. I'm like, oh my God, I've been looking for one of these forever. I need it. They're like, yeah, it's still available. I think they straight up told me, we're flexible on price. My husband bought it in the 80s because he thought it'd be cool, and it sat in our closet for 30 years. So I was fully prepared to drive and get it. It was in Wisconsin. It's about 5 hours from me, just across Lake Michigan. Again, fully prepared to hop in the old trusty, reliable Grand Prix with 250,000 miles on it to go pick up some 80s guitar. But I ended up asking them if they'd ship it. I didn't tell them I was willing to drive because I was hoping they'd just ship it over. We worked out a price. They shipped it over. I was so excited. It came in less than 2 days. I will still always remember unboxing this guitar because I went to a concert with my sister the night before, which is pretty funny. I was just texting her, sending her the pictures of the time hop notification that we were just at this concert a year ago. And I'll never forget, I spent the night at her house and I just was like, hey, I got to go early because this guitar was sitting at my house. And I like raced home and unboxed it. So I will, yeah, I'll just never forget that. It was so cool to finally find this guitar. So guys, that is the story about how I became the owner of what I consider my dream guitar. Like I said, I found a picture of this guitar probably within a few weeks of picking up the guitar, and I had been drooling over it for years, and I finally bought mine a year ago. So I think it's super cool. It's a really interesting story how they're pretty rare too, and all of a sudden like 6 of them are in front of me, and I ended up with the one I truly wanted. So guys, that is the story about finding my HM Strat. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. I hope everyone's hanging in there in these odd times that's going on. I hope you're not going too crazy. I might be a little bit during this weird quarantine. You know, that's a big reason for my absence from the channel or the lack in consistency lately. I'm gonna try to get better at that, but it's I don't know, it's put me in weird moods and hasn't had me wanting to film videos, but I'm gonna try to change that. Seeing that time hop notification last night really was like, I gotta make a video about this, how I finally became the owner of one. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Once again, if you're new to the channel, do remember to subscribe for updates on future videos. Typically, I upload every Friday at 9 a.m., so be ready for that. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much gonna do it for this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, throw a thumbs up on this video, and any comments, drop them down below. See you guys later.